Hi there. Today's lesson we're going to be working on rounding numbers to the nearest 10. Okay. Before we start rounding numbers to the nearest 10, we need to go over all of our tens numbers. So we start off at 0. We go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. These are all our tens numbers. I have written our tens numbers down the side of the whiteboard to help us. To explain how to round to the nearest 10, I like to put the number 5 somewhere where I can see it, and an arrow pointing up and an arrow pointing down. Okay, we're going to be using this to help learn how to round to the nearest 10. The first number we're going to start with today is the number 8. And we're going to look at our box as well, and we say to ourselves, is 8 bigger than or smaller than the number 5? Well, 8's bigger than 5, isn't it? So that means we're going to follow the arrow up. Okay, so we're going to be rounding up to the nearest 10. Okay, so it's 8. The closest 10 to 8 is 10, and we've got 0. Remember, we are rounding up, so that means we are going to round to the nearest 10, which is 10. If I give the number 4, are we going to be rounding up or rounding down? So, is 4 closer to 0, or is 4 closer to the number 10? It's under 5, isn't it? So that means we're going to be rounding the number 4 down to 0. How about the number 6? Okay. Is 6 bigger than or smaller than 5? So remember, we've got 5 and one more makes 6. So 6 is bigger than 5. So that means we are rounding it up to 10. Okay. How about a trick number? The number 5. Are we going to round 5 up to the nearest 10 or round it down to 0? Have a think. If you had 5 lollipops, would you like to have 10 lollipops or 0 lollipops? You would like 10 lollipops, wouldn't you? I know I would. So yeah, 5, we're actually going to round it up to 10. Let's try our tens numbers. How about the number 14? Okay, so the two closest tens numbers to this, we're going to round it down to 10, or we could round it up to 20, because makes 10 plus 4 makes 14. There's your 10 number. Then the next 10 number is 20, because 10, 20. Okay? Alright, let's look at the 4. Is 4 bigger than or smaller than 5? It's smaller, isn't it? So that means we're going to be rounding it down. So 14 is rounded down to 10. Let's try the number 17. Okay, what makes up 17? 10 plus 7. So we can either round it down to 10, or we can round it up to the 10 that comes after 10, which is 20. Okay, let's look at the number 7. Is 7 bigger than 5 or smaller than 5? It's bigger, isn't it? So that means we're going to be rounding it up. So 17 is rounded up to the number 20. Let's do the number 15. Okay, we know 10 plus 5 make up the number 15. Let's look at the 5. Is it bigger than 5 or smaller than 5? It is 5, isn't it? We want to round it up. We want more, not less. So 5 is rounded up. So 15 is also going to be rounded up. So 15 is rounded up to 20. Let's try the number 23. Okay. What makes up 23? 20 plus 3 make 23. So we can change these. So 20 is our smallest number. What comes after 20? 30 is going to be the rounded up number. So let's look at the 3 in 23. Is it bigger than 5 or smaller than 5? It's smaller, isn't it? So that means we're going to round it down to 20. So 23 is rounded down to the number 20. How about the number 26? Okay, let's look at what makes up 26. 20 plus 6. So 20 is going to be the rounding down number, and 30 is the rounding up number. So we look at the 6 and we say to ourselves, is it bigger than 5 or smaller than 5? It's bigger than 5, isn't it? So that means we're going to be rounding it up. So 26 is rounded up to 30. I am now going to give you some numbers to round to the nearest 10. 12. Right, you can either put an equal sign beside it to show that you're rounding it up. 8, 15, 22, and the number 17. Give those a go now.